Welcome to 30 minutes clarinet practice. Well, actually today what I'm going to be doing is selecting a new reed. I'm a Vandoren artist. I play Vandoren V12s 3.5. I've had this one that I've got on here. I've had it in for the whole of last week and I really enjoyed it, but I can feel that it's getting to the end of what I like in a reed. And I realised that reeds cost a lot of money, and I'm very privileged to have an endorsement with Vandoren. So I can be a bit more like, this one doesn't work, this one works, this one doesn't work. What do I actually look for in a reed? So years ago, someone said the ideal thing with a reed is to have kind of like imagine that there's the reed, right? Well, don't imagine it, it is there, right? And then in the middle, when you look at it, hold it up to the light, that it's kind of like that. So the reed's here and it's darker in the middle going up to a pyramid. So I can normally tell, saying this, I'll be completely wrong this time, but I can normally tell if a reed's going to be good. I often like it when it's got a bit of colouring on the reed. Do you know why? The reason I like that is because I can then go, oh yeah, that one's good. So I actually think this might be all right. But let's see what we've got here. You can feel this thinning out a bit now. I find that when I'm pushing into it, I like a bit of resistance. But if I'm not getting the resistance, then I'm going to be overblowing and everything's going to sound a bit rubbish. So this has been good. How do I know it? I mark my reed. There you go. So this one, I'm going to put it in. We'll see how it goes. For those of you wondering what I'm using a Vandoren 5JB mouthpiece. And I'm using a Vandoren, one of the new carbon ligatures, which I tell you what, I was in Vandoren in Paris and I tried it and they are extremely expensive. And I don't think, I think if you try it, you'll go, oh my God, this is amazing. It's brilliant, but very hard to spend the amount of money that it's up for. Yeah. But anyway, so I've just put this in. We're going to see what happens on the first blow of it. I'm not sure. It might be all right. So actually it feels good. It's got a lot of body, a lot of warmth to it in my head. It's a bit fuzzy. Do you know what I mean by fuzzy? A bit. So what I do is same with the other bits of practice. I just keep blowing this reed in the low register and just see if I like it. So that's what I'm going to do for a little bit. So I can immediately feel it's harder to play, but it's got more depth within the thing. What I'm going to do is, I've got another brand new reed that I've taken out here. We're going to compare them together. I know that I've spoken to some parents of people whose kids are learning, and sometimes if you're buying one or two reeds at a time and then you put them in, and it can be quite disheartening when you blow and it's like, oh, that's annoying. You know, especially when you're paying £3 or £4 a reed, it can be, yeah, it can end up being quite an expensive test to see if you like it or not. Okay, so this one feels a bit more lively. It's got more... So it's a bit more livelier than this one, but weirdly I sort of prefer this one. It seems it's got a bit more of a darker clarinet-y sound. This is, I'm going to try and blow this a bit longer. What I'm looking for is for that reed to react the same on every note. So like, I don't know how that happens. I don't know why it happens. I don't know what it is. See there, it sounds a bit stuffy. Well, why is that feeling stuffy? I don't know. Maybe is it the clarinet? Is it the reed? I don't know. I go through different techniques with reeds. Sometimes I put them in water and leave them to soak for maybe an hour. Sometimes they play all right, sometimes they don't. Sometimes I used to like it when I didn't wet reeds very much. You know, things change. But anyway, let's try here. So both reeds are sounding a little bit stuffy. If I compare it to what I have been playing, so you can hear that's a lot brighter. It's got a lot more. It's not as resistance, not as resisting. It's not resisting as much. So the idea, my idea in my head is, so I'm going to take this one, the one with the funny. Then I don't need a pen to mark it because I know that. My idea is to get this reed to sound like this, but just before it's like this. And I can do that by playing it in, or I can do a little bit of shaving. And a lot of people have loads of different techniques to shaving. Vandoren do a glass emery board thing with they call it, I've forgotten the name of it, but it's like a little stick as well, glass stick that you can shave. The idea with the glass thing is that you rub the reed, and so you're evenly shaving it down at the back. Something I used to do was just take the edge off of the top. So like literally so I'm using a little, this is just, I vary everything I use really. I don't have a definite thing that I use, but this is just what size is this? P320. Let's see if it works. But I'm going to look at just making the edge like that much, just literally take a little bit off. So you should do it on a flat surface. Maybe I can move this so you can see it. Ooh, can you see that? Let's push that back here. So I'm here. I'm just going to take off, right? You can see how long I did that for, and not lots and lots of pressure, but we're going to see what that might have done. please put in the comments your ideas, or if you have any questions of anything you want to know. As I said, these are not instructional. They're not. This isn't me telling you how to do something. It's just literally how I do things. So if it's of help to you, that's cool. So let's see. Immediately. So that is just taking off the tip. Just, you know, an even, just a zip, 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 zip. You saw how long I did it for, but it's made a total difference to this reed. Here we go. So if we go back to the other one, we'll see what the difference is with that now. So this is the second new reed that I put on. So actually, now after playing this, I'm thinking I want it to just be slightly low. I might have made this one too lively. So with not enough resistance, and that's the danger of taking the edge off the top, too much off the top. So with this one, I am going, and when I look at that actually, I can see that it's got the kind of look that I like on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, on the back of this, like this, so it's got the full amount. I'm going to bring over here like this again, so you can see that. Hey, don't worry, I'm still here. Right, just on the full thing, like that. Literally that, on the back, so it's shaved evenly. As I said, my techniques are is how I do it. Other people would say, you can never do that, don't do this, don't do that. I'll tell you what, if you sat around having a nightmare with reeds, and you're going, oh, this isn't working, that isn't working, and you're trying everything, and you're looking for another idea, then you may as well try it, mightn't you? So let's see what that's done now. See, not really noticing much with that. I'm going to go back to the other one that I shaved. Let's see what's happened with that. See, because what would be lovely from this exercise now is to get two reeds working exactly how I want. The idea is that you get 5 or 10 reeds that all work together, that all work really well. You get one of those little blue cases that says 1 to 10, and then you rotate your reeds. That is the idea, and that is what I'd imagine a lot of professional players do. I don't, but... I'm not totally sold, but let's just go back to this second one that we did, because I feel this has a bit more resistance in it because you don't want to lose the weight behind what you're doing. That, to me, has more clarity on each of the notes, so everything sounds... So everything with that is sounding good for me, around that mid and... So I'm going to put this one to one side because I know I like that, right? That's a good one. I should have a pen at this point, but what I'm doing is a left and right system. This one, unfortunately, will not get me through a gig. I'd do a gig on it, but I wouldn't be happy. It's had its day, and that makes me sad. But what will happen is I won't throw it away, and then I'll pick it up one day and go, oh, I hope it's all right. And then I'll get sad and remember all the nice things I did playing that reed. So here we go. Let's open up another one and see what happens from the start on this. Give it a little look up to the light. Yeah, it's sort of got that pyramid thing going on. The left-hand side of it is darker. I don't know if you can see if there's any light there, but maybe you can. But the left-hand side is a bit darker. Or maybe it's your right. No, the left here is a bit... It's a shame I can't work that out. But anyway, just to let you know, this side of the reed here is slightly darker higher up. So, but it's got a lovely coming up there to the middle, like that triangle thing that I'm looking for the point in the middle. But yeah, the left side is a bit darker. So I'm going to blow it, which means it's thicker on that side. The darkness is thicker of the reed, obviously. I'm putting it in. It's cut very nicely, this reed. Feels very nice to put on the mouthpiece. I think it's going to sound a bit... So this sounds exactly how I thought it would sound. Just a quick coffee, tilted coffee today. Good on them. Wonderful. And it's not hot, don't worry. Well, it's warm. I knew this would sound a bit fluffy, a bit like, if you know what I mean. Maybe you can't hear it, but hopefully you can. Thick, right? I'm immediately going to compare it to the reed that we like here. See what I mean? It's got a thicker, it's like that. So you can tell it's got a bit more resistance. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same process, but I'm going to put this flat down. Don't tell my mum and dad I'm doing this on their coffee table. But I'm just going to, in one motion, take that left-hand side down a little bit. Right? Clean the table, they'll never know. So looking at that now, that's a more even balance on the reed up the top end. without, because I feel I might have taken a bit too much off that other one, off the reed with the with that on it. So that's immediately feeling a lot better. Still feeling a bit stuffy. This is the kind of reed that before a gig I'd go, oh, I've got to put a new reed on, and I'd put it on and I'd start the gig and think, oh, I don't like this. But by the end of the reed, it would have blown in. You know, so I'm doing this where I'm shaving the back, right? Keep it all even, and I'm just going back and forth 2, 3, 4 times. Like this. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And I'm hoping that will just take that little edge off that I was talking about, that fuzz, that kind of, that little bit that's going to wear you out, you know, and shatter you when you're trying to get through a run of something. See, that to me has got this movement in the notes, so I'm looking to be able to, you know, take a note and so if we take, what I want to be able to do with that note is all the to have movement with it so that you can, you know, you can shape the note however you want. But if you've got a reed that isn't working that well, you're not going to be able to do that. You might only get so what I'm going to do here is just take out. What we'll do is we'll compare these 2 reeds that I've done. So I quite like this now. So I like that. That's a nice reed. That's good. I'm sticking this original one that I did, that we liked. So reed number 2 in effect. See, I like this one still. There's still something about this one. But they've still got enough resistance in them that they will change naturally as well. Because I also believe, I hear people who say, oh yeah, I play any reed that I get out the box. There's a guy in Norway, he says, yeah, I just play every reed that comes out the box. And I think, well, how do you do that? Unless you get extremely lucky. So here we go. Here's a reed straight out the box. But what we're doing here, bearing in mind, is comparing this. Unless you get totally lucky, so you can hear immediately like. If I was doing a gig and I had to play that reed, I would be worn out. Like, especially if I hadn't done a live gig for a while. You can hear it, it's like. But in all honesty, it's going to be a good reed. It'll be a good reed, that one. We can blow that one in. But I'm going to go to the originals. These two here. And I immediately feel comfortable and know that if I turned up, if I had a gig today, in 10 minutes time, I could pick this up. That's the aim. Get all your reeds playing the same. And it's worth sitting down for, you know. I've been lucky with that reed last week. And what I should have probably done was sat down and done what I'm doing today. But hey, I didn't. So now I'm going to sit down and try and blow this reed into that. Into the same sound as that. Then I've got 3 reeds that sound fairly similar. But you still want to leave a bit in the reed. Because a reed will get better over time. It will get better. You know, the more you blow it, the more it's used. I feel this is like, it's so good when you get one out of the box and it already plays already and you know you can just go and straight. Because I think there's nothing better than the reed naturally finding it how you want it to work. I truly believe that. As soon as you start adapting and doing stuff like this, the reed is getting to the point where you want it. And what happens is I get to the point where I want it at home. So I shave it and I'm like, oh yeah, this reed's sounding amazing. And then you go out to a gig and no matter what anyone says, you play differently on a gig to when you're at home, right? You get on the gig and you blow that reed and it immediately sounds how you want. But, you know, after 3 or 4 tunes, it's starting to lose its edge, like this one, you know, which I've been playing all week. So what you want to do is, for me, I want to find just before it's about to hit its goal. You know, so this one... So this one is going to, out of all of that, after all of that and shaving that, this is going to be the one that will naturally bed in best to what I want. So this goes to number 1 in my reed selection. This is the first one that I mucked around with. Because you might turn up at a gig and it's all carpeted. I don't believe that, you know, if you walk into a room and the room might soak up the sound, then, so I play in Mexico quite a lot. And when I'm in Mexico, I remember the first times going, I was like, oh my God, I'm so worn out. And I have quite a thick setup. So 3.5 reeds, you know, on a big wide mouthpiece. Same on tenor saxophone. I have 3.5 reeds on a massive Jody Jazz mouthpiece. And I started blowing. I'm like, what's going on here? But you're 2,500 meters above sea. You know, you know the air's different. So I don't believe there's one setup for everywhere. This will be perfect for in Mexico. A bit of a thinner thing. But what I would say is get your reeds, get a box of reeds and go through them all at once. have a look at them, work out what you like in a reed, have a little look up, look at what you're going and going, why is this reed better than this reed? What is making this reed worse? What is making this one better? Better. But do you know what I mean? So have a little look. Take time to give yourself a chance. Don't just trust that a reed's going to come out the box and it'll be the same. Every bit of wood's different. Get yourself a bit of sandpaper, something fine, or get one of the Vandoren glass plates with the finishing stick. I think it's called the Improver or something. I can't remember. But the link is in the description. If you like this video, please click subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends. All right, folks. Take care. Bye-bye.